This chapter looks at single row functions. What is a single row function? A single row function is exactly as it says. It's a function that is applied in something like a SQL statement, such as the where clause, to every single row that the select statement is retrieving. So here's a very simple example where we say select name and then the uppercase version of the same name field from the category table where the parent ID is null. So we're simply saying apply the function uppercase to the name field, and as you can see here, the upper category version of the category has everything uppercase: concerts, sports, arts and theatre, and family. A special type of a single row function is a data type conversion function. Data type conversions allow you to automatically convert between strings, numbers, and dates and not produce errors when running queries. Group functions are another type of function. They are not single row functions, but we will look at them as a type of function. And the group function allows you to summarize or analyze information by grouping sets of records into fewer rows. So if I was to count all the rows from the category table, I'd actually get an answer that said 34, as opposed to 34 rows being printed out like this. So the count function helps to summarize data. We also have things called object reference functions that allow you to reference and dereference object values, such as images and any kind of binary stored object. This is a little bit advanced for this course, but you need to know that they exist as a type of function. There are also user-defined functions, which we will look at in the next course. A user-defined function is a function that you create using PL/SQL or programming language SQL. What this function is doing here is it's allowing you to convert between Fahrenheit and Celsius temperature scales. So you put in a Fahrenheit number and it will return the same value converted to Celsius. So as opposed to doing something like upper value, you'd have F2C a number and it would return the conversion. Simple as that. So now let's go a little bit further into single row functions. There are string functions, the one you saw before, upper name, and various functions you've seen so far in this course. You've seen initcap as well. Initcap capitalizes the first letter in each word. So you're going from my name is Joe in lowercase to my name is Joe. Actually, this is called mixed case. Numbers. A number function, for example, is the function that raises a number to a power. And it simply says power 2, 3, which means raise 2 to the power 3, or 2 times 2 times 2, which is equal to 8. Date functions. Here's a special type of date function that adds a number of months to a date. Take this date, add 3. From January to February, March, and April. It's added 3 months to January, and it's still the 18th, but it's 3 months later. And some other, what Oracle sometimes calls miscellaneous functions that you can't really categorize into something to do with strings, numbers, or dates. For example, the NVL function that allows you to replace a null value with a string or a number or a date appropriate to whatever the data type of the column is that you're pulling. Again, you've seen this used so far in this course. And even though you have seen many of these functions used so far in this course, it's important to go through everything that's there and classify it so you understand what's there. Personally, I prefer to not just dump all this information en masse on you before I start using it in a course. I'd rather use it a little bit so you get familiar with it, and then you go backwards or take a step sideways and categorize everything. But at this point, you know what these things are for. It's not meaningless. And as I said before, we've got data type conversion functions, which are a special type of string function, number function, or date function because they convert between strings, numbers, and dates. Back to the grouping functions, which we will look at briefly in a subsequent chapter on the group by clause and aggregation, there are two types generally of grouping functions. There are aggregate functions, such as the count function you've already seen, where it aggregates data and basically summarizes all the rows and sticks them into one or a specific number, depending on how you code the query. There are also analytical type functions, which do certain things to data sets, such as create calculations on groups within the groups, and so on and so forth. We will see those in the later chapter on the group by clause.